Got a great show for you today. As the Yankees apparently are already falling apart, the New York Mets are thrilled that they don't have a tight Jacob deGrom here. And the New York Jets are now doing what? Nobody knows. Good afternoon, Evan. How are you today, kid?
I owe you an apology. Do you know why?
Yeah, you probably said I wasn't going to make it here in time.
Had nothing to do with that. I always had faith in you. I did something last night that I feel really, really, really bad about. Last night, about 10 o'clock or so, me and my wife are debriefing on the day. We're having a conversation, and I started talking about the ancient civilizations and aliens.
Yeah.
And I said, Craig told me this name. We should watch the documentary.
You're welcome.
So I called your ass up at 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, you did?
And as it was dialing, my wife looks at me and says, doesn't he go to sleep early? And I said, oh, crap.
You know what's funny?
And I quickly hung up the phone.
I actually have no recording of you reaching out to me last night at 10 o'clock.
So I got lucky.
Hold on. Oh, yes, you did. Wait a minute. Evan Roberts called me at 9:33.
All right, so not quite 10 o'clock.
I was well in bed and sleeping.
Yeah, my apologies.
Bob Lazar. Did you watch it or
no?
No,
I never found Bob Lazar. I ended up watching something else.
Really?
We ended up finding something completely different, but now I'm going to write, hold on, Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good now. Thank you.
All right, now you're
and my
good.
apologies.
No, it's all good. I didn't hear the phone ring anyway.
Good.
As promised yesterday on the show, I was at Fordham today doing a responsible gaming speech to a bunch of kids at Fordham and a bunch of their athletes there, and it was a great time. But I promised I was going to go to Arthur Avenue, 187th Street to be specific, and get my main man homemade, freshly made mutts.
Yes!
So I got it for you. This was made like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, wow.
There you go, all right?
Oh, it looks fantastic.
Yes. I went to Casa de la Mozzarella, and then while I was there, a kid comes in wearing a Dallas Cowboys shirt, who's the son of Frank Zuro. Frank Zuro's got a bakery in the Bronx and was kind enough to give me some bread. So I was out of the Zuros in the Bronx. It was good to meet the young man. And I got some fresh made bread.
Nice.
I got you some mozzarella.
Looks good.
I got a couple of Italian sandwiches. And I sat in the car with Spike on the way back. And the whole time he's saying, you son of a bitch.
Yes.
You're going to be late. And I said, who cares? I'm with the boss. Can't get in trouble.
And he was texting me and ended up being mad at me because he said for some reason was stopping at a deli. And I said, because I told him to get me mozzarella.
Yeah, that's right. And I said I would. No, I didn't get pounds of meat. I just got a sandwich. It's easier that way.
It's perfect.
So we're all good. So where do you want to start? You want to start with the baseball?
Well, let me start with this.
Go.
Don't be a jerk.
Go.
To everybody listening, don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk. All right? I understand that there was a news item that came out in the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
That makes you say, wow, not our problem anymore. And that's the news item.
deGrom.
That Jacob deGrom has soreness on his side. The Rangers are saying it's the cold weather. Not a big deal.
Cold weather.
He'll pitch in a couple of days.
Yeah.
We cannot, as New Yorkers, celebrate this.
Yes, you can.
No,
and
you can't.
should.
No, you can't.
You can.
First of all, why root against an all-time great Met from being injured? But here's the other reason why you can't. Max Scherzer is old. Justin Verlander is old. There's a possibility that in the next 5 days, we're going to hear about soreness with them. So what I would advise my fellow Met fan to do is shut your damn mouths. No. Seriously, shut your mouths.
No, you don't know. See, here's where your fandom of Jacob deGrom.
I'm a Met fan.
No, you are a Met fan. But you're an admitted stand for Jacob deGrom. You have never denied that. And there's a part of you that, yes, your soul got crushed when your favorite Met of all time went elsewhere. We understand why, $100 million more. Mets weren't going to make that offer. We were not debating that ever again, right? But there's a part of you that has held the torch for him, where now that he's in the American League, he can't really do you much harm. So on the side, and it's a slippery slope for you, my friend, on the side, you're having an affair.
He's my side piece.
He is your side piece, and you really cannot deny that. So you have secretly kept the torch open for Jacob deGrom, and there's a big part of you. Mets come first. No one's ever going to deny that. Where you want the Mets to win, and you'd love to watch deGrom have an amazing year. because that's your guy. So, yeah, you come on today and go, hey, Met fans, you shouldn't be happy that deGrom's got soreness or tightness in his side or his lats or whatever the heck it is, right? But Met fans don't feel the way you feel.
No, I know they don't. I admit that.
Met fans want this guy to crumble. They want to watch him crumble and never get back to the form that they enjoyed watching him, because however it went south, whether there was the Oakland start, the Atlanta start, or just the lack of personality, whatever it is.
Or just the lack of pitching.
Yeah. Or the fact that, you had this great guy who didn't give you enough, right? Somewhere along the way, for some people, a decent number of people, it went south. And now I know what they're saying. I was on the streets of the Bronx today. That's what they say in the Bronx.
Yeah.
And that means screw Jacob deGrom. If he dies, he dies.
I understand that. But what you didn't hear is the second part.
Right.
I agree. You may be right that I'm still sort of in a weird way holding a torch for him. I'll own that. You're right. He can't really do me any damage in the AL. You may be right. But the other thing that scares me are the two guys who lead the Met rotation are a combined 77 years old. 77.
Right.
Justin Verlander is a few years removed from Tommy John surgery. Max Scherzer missed time multiple times because of whatever the hell issue he had, that side issue.
Right.
He also choked in the postseason.
Yep.
So I kind of get worried about mocking a February injury when the Mets may be days away from their first February injury. Does that not make sense?
Yeah, sure. But I wouldn't take the Jacob deGrom, mini setback right now and then put that on your guys just because they're older.
But the biggest worry about the New York Mets going into this season, we'll get to the Yankees who have their own injury issues, is can Verlander and Scherzer stay healthy?
Yeah, well, look,
Is that not a fair worry?
Yeah, it's a worry, but I wouldn't let the deGrom thing then make you focus on the potential.
No, it doesn't make me. I was going to focus on it no matter what because of their age.
But even more today because of deGrom, right?
I just think that sometimes you don't want to throw stones when you live in a glass house. I'm reading Met fans on Twitter. I heard it from Dove Kramer. I've heard it from various people who are like, oh, isn't this great? Isn't this great? I'm not celebrating a man's injury when the Mets could be a day away from their own injury.
Well, I think that what they're saying it's great is that the Mets didn't commit the money to him, and now it's good that they didn't because, look, he's already hurt.
Yeah, let Justin Verlander make starts.
Well, look,
seriously,
listen.
let Verlander go on the freaking mound before anybody celebrates.
Yeah, well, I think those are mutually exclusive
No,
things.
they're not. They're completely related because the guy who replaced deGrom is Justin Verlander. They're completely related.
Here's why they're not related.
How's that?
Met fans are happy deGrom might be hurt. Met fans would be livid and upset, rightfully so, if Verlander or Scherzer get hurt, right?
Yeah.
And let's be honest, when you saw those two guys walk into the facility a couple days ago, I thought they were going to play shuffleboard. I was like, here we are, we're in Florida. Two old guys are hanging out in the beautiful Florida sun. Probably got a little shuffleboard, a little pickleball maybe going on down there.
I love me some pickleball.
Meanwhile, while the New York Mets fans, I guess, hold their breath, hoping that Scherzer and Verlander get off to a healthy start down with pitchers and catchers showing up, the New York Yankees get bad news. Bad news in that Frankie Montas is having surgery.
Yeah.
So I guess he's out for the year. Is that what they're saying?
So remember how this started.
What's the prognosis?
Remember the timeline on this. Obviously, they trade for Frankie Montas last year, along with Lou Trevino. We can't ignore that.
Right.
And Frankie sucks when he pitches for the Yankees. Pitches to a 6 ERA, gets hurt. We never see him again. We get word a few months ago he's not healthy. He will miss at least the first month of the season. So we already knew going into spring training, all right, kind of have to push Frankie to May or June, and we'll see.
Right.
And then today, before Aaron Boone met the media, rumors came out, because it was said actually by the pitching coach, Matt Blake, he may need surgery.
Right.
So all of a sudden you're like, well, he may need surgery here in February? Boone opens his press conference by saying he needs surgery.
Right, which means he's done.
Well, here's the way he phrased it. They're scoping it to get a better idea of what they're dealing with. If they get good news, he could pitch towards the end of the regular season.
So September.
If they don't get good news, we're not going to see him pitch this year. If I had to make a guess, we will never see Frankie Montas throw a pitch again for the New York Yankees.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that trade backfired big time.
Well, yes,
right?
Because they gave up two guys who are already in the major leagues in Ken Waldichuk and J.P. Sears, but they did get a relief pitcher back who may have a big role on this team. With that said, yeah, it looks like a disaster. What I felt bad about
it is.
Here's Boone answering questions such as, did you trade for damaged goods?
Sure.
Which is a fair question. And I'm thinking to myself, why does the manager have to
Where's
answer
the general
this
manager?
for the general manager?
Especially because, if I remember last season correctly, Montez was a consolation prize. Right? Didn't the Yankees want, what's his name?
Luis
went to Minnesota?
Castillo, yes.
Right, Luis Castillo.
To Seattle, yes.
Pardon me, Seattle.
Yep.
He was the guy everybody wanted.
Yes.
For some reason, the Yankees didn't, or maybe they couldn't get him, whatever the case is.
They asked for a lot.
All right, so you couldn't get him. And while Montez, okay, good pitcher, we'll take him, help us in the stretch run, it's been a disaster.
Oh, and look, Brian Cashman, who overall has been a fine GM, has a track record of horrific trades for starting pitchers. We're not going to go through the list, but if you're a Yankee fan, you know the list, and this just piles on. This is bad. Now, can it be salvaged if Lou Trevino turns out to be an all-star reliever for the Yankees out of the bullpen? Sure. Now, the other piece of news that could at least make you feel decent, not news, but when you take a step back on this, is Frankie's the fifth starter. At least that was the view of him. You have Luis Severino, you have Carlos Rodon, you have Nestor Cortez, and of course, you have the ace Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
So you are talking about the fifth spot in the rotation, not losing your second arm or your third arm.
Okay, but still, it's a preseason blow.
It's a disastrous trade.
Right? It's definitely a listen, the Yankees are still going to win the division. They're still going to go to the playoffs. They're still going to lose in the ALCS. But the reality is that it's a preseason blow. Boy, again, this just shows you, I was talking to Spike today, this is why New York's different than every other market in the world. Because ain't nobody else talking about baseball right now. And Met fans have an opinion one way or the other about deGrom. Yankee fans are beside themselves. Cashman should be fired. Told you he's a lousy GM. The Montez deal sucked. Meanwhile, the New York Jets are going, do we want Derek Carr? Do we want Derek Carr? Oh, do we want Derek Carr? And no indication that they want Derek Carr. And one thing I will say, before we get all your calls and take a break, that I liked about, and I thought about, we didn't get into it yesterday too much, about the Aaron Rodgers interview yesterday, right, in which he's not really going to a dark house. There was a light switch on the wall.
By the way, real quick before you continue, I have what I think, you may disagree, is monstrous news out of the Aaron Rodgers interview that no one's talking about elsewhere.
Okay.
That we will address whenever you're comfortable with.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with sports, but I think it's major news from Aaron Rodgers.
All right.
That may change your view on him, specifically you.
Okay, meaning that I'm going to like him more and want him.
I did not say that.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear what it is.
I think it's pretty significant.
Well, if it's significant, you can go first.
You want me to go first?
I mean, if you want to go first, you can go first. Go ahead.
Aaron Rodgers was asked a question.
Go ahead.
What's your favorite band? Very basic question, very simple question. I don't want to kind of throw you guys off. He did not say a band. He said a person as his favorite.
Yeah.
Do you want to know who he said? Because I couldn't believe he said this.
Chrissy Stapleton?
He did not say Chris Stapleton.
Eminem?
He did not say Eminem.
Bieber?
He didn't say Justin. I could give each of you guys
Sinatra.
30 guesses. It's not Frank Sinatra. And I don't think you'd be able to get it.
It's a single artist?
It's a single artist
Adele.
who everybody knows. It's not Adele.
Contemporary or old school?
I don't know how to answer that question, Craig.
Because you're not sure?
Well,
like if it was Elvis, you would know it's old school.
I would say he or she is still alive.
Okay.
But they've been around for a while.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Britney Spears.
It's not Britney Spears.
Pink.
It's not Pink.
It's a woman, though. I know it's a woman.
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey.
There's a crazy rumor about this woman that she and a former president once had a thing.
Marilyn Monroe.
Close, but not really.
She's a singer?
Oh, she's a singer. Some may argue this woman has the greatest voice in the history of music.
Barbra Streisand.
Barbra Streisand!
That's his favorite artist of all time?
Breaking
He's
news,
blowing
everybody.
smoke up your ass. He's lying.
No, he wasn't. He was dead
He
serious.
couldn't name 5 Streisand songs,
Well,
and if I was doing that interview, I would have said name 5 Streisand songs.
They did not pursue it.
Yeah, of
That's
course
on
not.
them. But Aaron Rodgers said, I'm sorry, I don't have a favorite band, but I'm a huge Barbra Streisand
Is
fan.
that right? He probably can't even spell her first name.
So what does this do with you with him? Does it change anything?
Not at all.
All right, you're all good?
I think he's a flat-out liar.
Come on.
Because no man in their mid-30s, Jewish or not, says that Barbra Streisand is their favorite singer of all time.
Why?
The animal does not exist.
Why would he lie?
Because that's what he does. He's trying to be funny.
So his funny is
Listen,
Barbra Streisand?
Have you ever heard people who think they're funny but they're not trying to be funny?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. All day, every day. Yeah,
I
guess what?
apologize.
It's all good. That's what Aaron Rodgers is doing. He's trying to be funny. He's trying to be clever. and there's a part of me that appreciates the attempt, I guarantee you it ain't Streisand. That's a lot.
I disagree with you, but Rodgers is the kind of guy that just says what's on his mind.
And you got to follow up. Have you ever been to a Streisand concert? No. Can you name 5 Streisand tunes? No. Can you name 2 movies she's been in? No. No, no, and no. No, 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 no. That's all no. No, no, no.
I almost drove off the side of the road when I heard this morning.
877-337.
He said Babs.
6666. Listen, maybe that's a sign that he's trying to appease the Jewish community in New York. Maybe he really does want to be a New York Jet after all. Maybe. And maybe not.